Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Audio versions of the show are available through Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, wherever you pick up your audio versions of the show. And if you'd like to contact the show, you'll get us on Facebook, the Upper Tier. We're also on Instagram, the Upper Tier, and you'll get us on Twitter at the_upper_tier. Joining me tonight, obviously, our main man, the European man, of course, Craig. How we doing, Craig?
Good, Niall. How are you? A lot going around in Europe at the moment, to say the least.
Football is gone mad, and we kind of predicted it. So I'm sure our viewers can gather. You're rocking that good Barcelona jersey there. So obviously, we're here to talk about only one thing that's being spoken about in football right now, and that is Mr. Lionel Messi is leaving Barcelona. Apparently, that is the talk anyway, and it looks like it's been confirmed. What you thinking on it overall?
Overall, I might have, how do we say, a different look on it than others. I don't know if that's down to liking Barcelona itself. One thing I will say before I do start, in no way am I personally attacking Lionel Messi. I do love him. If I didn't love Barcelona, I would tune in to watch him anyway, like all the world does. But this stems, I think, from back when the likes of the big players in the dressing room had kind of departed Bar, where he became the centerfold, the pin-up, if you like, of Barcelona. He became the poster boy. He became, the face, the club, the icon. Nearly like Ronaldinho was even previous, if we go back even before even the likes of Xavi and Iniesta. But his stock, his advertising, his growth, his recognition actually surpassed Barcelona, the club itself, so to speak. But he knew that, and he knows that. And he's very smart, as in he knows his value. And the club are afraid, I think, to, upset him in any way possible. I think as years have gone on and as he's gone older, his power has grown within the club and over the club. Leading up to this situation, it's no secret, we did the Barcelona show before. Barcelona are in dire straits, as in death, seeping through the club. I understand people might look at that and say, oh, Messi loves Barcelona, they mightn't have done enough. Barcelona can't financially give him what he wants, even if they want it. Even without that La Liga obstacle, as they say. I think, in my honest opinion, that it could be a gentleman's agreement between Laporta, who has Barcelona's best interests, unlike Bartomeu before him, and Messi. Look, we can't give you what you want. We don't want to tarnish your legacy, but we don't want to be attacked by riots outside that we haven't given you a deal. So if we both agree to come up with a solution that, you're happy to leave your journey here, which has been an amazing journey. I think it's 19 years at Barca, absolutely outstanding. Like him and Ronaldo, you would turn into La Liga alone, even if you didn't watch La Liga, you would, anyone would. But I think he's 34 now. Barcelona cannot go down that road again. And I include Messi in this and giving a mega bumper deal out and putting themselves even closer to, and I'll use the word liquidation, administration. And I'm talking about Barcelona, which is mad using that in the same sentence, but it is very real. They haven't been good with money under the last president, under Bartomeu. They've been giving mega deals to players who you would think are kind of at the end of their career. In my opinion, for Barca, in an ideal world, you would say, give him a 1-year deal. But you have to remember he wanted out of Barca. He stayed reluctantly. Factored in well. I don't think they can give him, obviously they can't. They cannot give him that. And this La Liga obstacle, I think, is, I do see truth in it, but I also think, let's just go our separate ways and shake on it. And, everyone's a winner, as in no one's going to really, they'll probably point at La Liga. But if you love Barca, could he not play for a year with, he's wealthy. He's never going to be able to spend the money here. And it's like the Pepsi deal, the Adidas deal. You know yourself, Niall, the deal, Barca are not. He's, world renowned. If the club that made him what he was today, could he not give something back for 1 year if he loved the club so much?
My problem with the whole thing really is, one, this has been coming, and we know it's been coming for a long time at Barcelona. We've seen it over at least the last 5 to 7 years, where they've gone out and squandered money on absolute rubbish at times, or bang average. And they've paid stupid money, right? But you look at Messi there, right? And you kind of have to call into question, what kind of a human being sits across a table from a club looking for 674 million. 674 million. I think this is in dollars over 4 years. And I'm just thinking, where's the governing bodies on these things? Where's the financial fair play? Where's UEFA? Where's who pander and beat this drum of fair play and inclusion and, grassroots, and we want to include all the kids on the street in this sport and all this kind of thing. And then at the top end, you have this unbelievable amount of corruption that's going on in terms of money that's being moved around. And I just don't, at what point does a player need 674 million over 4 years to kick a ball around the pitch? It's just...
Where is the goal for Barcelona in any of that, regardless of the amount, which is astronomical and outrageous? But where is the interest now in Barcelona are in an absolute awful state? Where is that kind of compliance?
Well, you see, the other thing that bugged me about this as well is, I know that he had offered up to take a 50% cut on that, which is fine. So that brings it down to, you're down there around 330 million or whatever. So now we're down to 330 million. For argument's sake, let's say 100 million a year, because it'll probably top out a bit more, But I looked as well at this CVC thing, where La Liga is looking at bringing in this investment partner who want to purchase 10% of La Liga for 2.7 billion, I think it was. And La Liga is planning on using that money to bolster the finances of the clubs in La Liga and also down into grassroots. But look, we know that the lion's share of that is mainly going to go to Barca, Real Madrid, and Real. Yeah. We know that that's where it's going to go. We're not stupid, right? And we know that the whole idea of this is to bolster their finances, so the likes of Messi and all can be registered. Because the problem with CVC, they're an investment company, so they want to see a return on their investment. So their investment, if Lionel Messi leaves La Liga and goes to, say, League One or Serie A or the Premier League, their investment is going to drop, because, as you said, I'd imagine 40 to 50%, if not more, of the casual fans for Spanish football tune in, as you said, over years to watch Messi, to watch Ronaldo, to watch these type of players, right? So if Messi goes off to France, that portion of the audience heads off to France. It's no longer watching La Liga because it doesn't really care. And I had a problem with that as well, because what they were basically going to do is money that they were generating off an investment to grow the game and bolster the clubs. A lot of the money that was due to go down to these other clubs lower down was going to be used to fund Messi so he could register to stay.
It's to keep him there, to get the viewers, to get the broadcast, and to get all it is.
So they found themselves in a bit of a bind where CVC are kind of saying, well, we're not paying 2.7 for this if he heads off. And La Liga are saying, and I presume Barca are on the same boat, they're saying, well, if you don't make this deal, he's going to head off anyway. So you got to figure out what you're going to do. We need the deal to happen in order to be able to bring him in to register him. And then I'm kind of thinking as well, that's all well and good. So you bring him in and you register him. But what happens then to the Memphis Depoys and the Kun Agueros, who are waiting to be registered as well? Do they get registered, or do they just head off into the sunset?
You know what, as well, I really find really disappointing in that there's a player who you just mentioned, okay? Memphis Depay looks like a talent, and he's at the getting a dream move to Barcelona, and Ronald Koeman is the manager, so he's Dutch, so that kind of beds him in a little bit, understanding and stuff. But then again, he cannot grow his potential if Messi is there, in my opinion. Messi does not like people coming in in the attacking areas of the pitch. I've seen it before. You look at Antoine Griezmann, signed for Barcelona, right? Fair enough. Had a great time at Atletico. I remember a game when Suarez and Messi were both injured and they were watching the game and Griezmann had scored. And the two of them had just seen it looked like Barca had conceded a goal. You know, it's just so off-putting. And I'd say the amount of pressure playing beside Lionel Messi that to deliver, it's not even delivering for Barca. It's making sure you're doing right by him at times. And I think people need to stress that a lot. You know, the likes of Zlatan, the likes of Villa, the likes of Eto'o, it's happened to numerous players. It's happened to Griezmann in a short period of time as well. You seen when Suarez was sold or they let him go, Messi had an absolute tour out with the club. Messi did, a player, had a tour out with the actual club. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, as in the power.
Yeah.
And the same with Neymar when he went. Oh, he's me mate. You can't get rid of him. Like, it's crazy. And I really feel for Ronald Koeman. Like, he hasn't even been mentioned in these conversations because sadly, the Barcelona manager is irrelevant in this situation, which is mad to believe.
Well, I suppose when you find yourself in this amount of financial trouble, I mean, we're talking serious amounts of money here. I think they reported last year
over $1 billion, isn't it?
600 million loss. Like this is serious money here that we're talking about. You know what I mean? And I just don't know. To me, it's just scary, these figures, you know, that are being banded around, for one reason or another. I just find it really, really strange. That it would be allowed to go on like this, you know. So yeah, I suppose we need to look at, I mean, like when you're talking about this amount of money and stuff like that, there's only, you know, less than a handful of clubs that's in that conversation, really, when you think about it. It looks like I was on Ian's podcast last night, the Chelsea Roar, and we were talking about it when news had broke about this, and we were saying there's only a number of places this guy could be going. Man City is one of them, Chelsea is another, and obviously PSG is the other one. And that's the only place we think he could potentially go. Now, news has come out today that it looks like PSG are the front runners for this. And there's talk that the Eiffel Tower and all is being booked for the 10th. And this is when they normally announce the signing of a huge player.
Did that for Neymar.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking my head is telling me that I'm not sure he's still going to go. I think this finance company are going to pony up and they're going to figure out a way to get this guy registered, because there's no way La Liga want their jewel heading off to the French league. So I'm just
nobody
not
would watch the French league if you paid them, to no offense to the quality of it. If you put Messi in there, it could be basketball, it could be badminton. It doesn't matter. The viewers go with Messi. You know, like Ronaldo went to Serie A, people would turn in and watch Juventus, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, because of the caliber of the player. Like.
So what's your overall thinking at the moment?
I think he's going to PSG. I think he's going to PSG, and I also seen something earlier about Neymar's been in regular contact with him, and he would even give him the number 10. Which doesn't mean anything in the French league, sadly. But do you know what? Even though we're talking about Messi, I think this would have implications on Kylian Mbappe, because I don't think he is the kind of player who would not that he wouldn't welcome Messi, but I'm sure he's aware of how tight knit that him and Neymar are. He's already expressed interest to leave PSG, which I respect, because he has ambition at a young age.
Yeah.
And what implications would that have? Do you think that Pochettino would be strong enough to manage the three of those kind of high-profile kind of characters, or do you think that there would be a divide, as in we've seen before, as in Neymar, Messi, and then the other person?
I don't think, when you're talking about players of that level, I don't think there's managers that are capable of doing that. I think these guys come in and they just begin to run the show themselves. And
it'll be the same thing again.
Yeah, and I just don't think, and you know, no disrespects to Poch either, you know what I mean? But he's certainly not in that conversation. I mean, I think it's very different if you're talking about a Conte or, you know, a Pep Guardiola or a Jurgen Klopp or a Thomas Tuchel. Then I think you have a very different situation. But when you're talking about Poch, I mean, he's going to find himself in a very, very difficult situation as well, where I mean, we're talking about a team here that practically picks itself. So from a manager's point of view, and I know he has spoken about this before at Spurs as well, about I'm not the manager, I'm the coach. Well, if ever that statement rings true in terms of his situation now at PSG, your history is coming back to bite you in the backside, really. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just wonder. You know, it's
What do
just.
you think his destination is for you, in your opinion? If it's not Barcelona, where do you see him, in your opinion?
Well, you see, Man City kind of ruled themselves out today. They were asked to comment on it, and they said that they've just secured the signing of Jack Grealish for 100 million. So they naturally would not be going in to do that deal again, even with the volume of wealth that's there. I think Chelsea would be very much in the conversation because I know Roman Abramovich is a huge fan of him. And I know in the past there has been conversations there and expressed interest. And I know that Roman would have the wealth. But I think to go into Chelsea at the moment now and absolutely smash that wage structure to that point. I think with the project that's going on there at the moment with Tuchel and the success that's happening, I think it could derail the ship.
Yes, I
And
fully agree with that.
I'd be very concerned about that. I think going into PSG, you know, he'll find himself at home there with the rest of the mercenaries. So
Yeah,
it's not that big a deal, and they'll throw money at it
Sergio
because
Ramos and Lionel Messi in the same team. Imagine.
they don't care. You know what I mean? They and you know I think from their point of view as well, like they've missed out on the Champions League and stuff like that and all, and I think they really want it, so they'll do anything they can to get it.
Yeah,
But to be banding around these type of figures and this type of money, to me, is just absolute lunacy. You know what I mean? Like if you were going to throw that money at a forward, I mean, would you not go
Erling
for a
Haaland.
yeah? Would you not go and buy this kid at 19 who's absolutely lighting up the Bundesliga, who looks a real absolute world class player? I know he doesn't have the name value that say Messi has in terms of branding and all that kind of marketing stuff. But it's very, very strange that this is the kind of money that they're just going
You
to
know
throw at it. You know?
the PSG director is Leonardo,
Mm,
who was it Milan before,
mm,
and he's Brazilian, and obviously Neymar signed his extension, so I'm sure he's on great terms and saying, "Look, get Lionel in. We'll tear bleeding this up for you." Like, I'm sure he's constantly talking to Messi, Neymar, and
mm.
saying,
Yeah,
"I'll get you a deal sorted now, but
yeah.
tell me what you're looking for."
You're also talking about PSG as well, who are coming off the back of losing the French league. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like
and to a very honest Lille side, who
yeah,
they kind of have that kind of model where they build up a player to a good profile and sell him on for a few bob and do it again, kind of thing. They
yeah.
lost the French Super Cup last week to Lille 1-0 as well.
Mm,
it's you know, it's crazy. Like, but for me, Barcelona, the club is the foremost. It's bigger than any player will ever be, and
mm-hmm,
bigger than Messi.
yeah.
Barcelona is a monumental club,
Mm,
and there is life after Messi. It's going to be a long time to reconstruct the club. But the likes of the likes of Pedri, the likes of Ansu Fati, you have to be very careful that you're not going to be in so much debt that you're going to have to put price tags on these players, because it will happen if they don't get things sorted out.
Well, I suppose the other issue is as well is if they go ahead, if the funding was to go ahead and they were able to find a way of registering, like does that kill off that issue totally with that funding, or is it a case that they still have a problem with the likes of Aguero, with the likes of Depay, with the likes of any other players hanging on the wind there, waiting to be registered or recontracted or whatever it is, and that would be a serious question as well, because as much as people Barcelona is Lionel Messi and Lionel Messi is Barcelona, there's a lot more to Barcelona than just that, you know. And
Yeah,
I'd just be worried, you know what I mean, in terms of like just using this funding and this money to like secure this guy in the league. It's like as if
it's
nearly
not going to
it's like
benefit
as if the
anybody else.
league is signing, not the club.
It's not going to benefit the lower teams. It's going to benefit Real Madrid and Barcelona to continue to be that global draw with Lionel Messi intact.
Yeah. Mm.
It's not going to benefit anyone below, you know.
I wonder what the fallout from this is as well in terms of La Liga, in terms of, you know, are any of these financial directors or accountants or accountancy firms that are involved with these clubs, are any of these guys being taken to task on what's being allowed evolve here, if you like, in terms of like nearly running up $1 billion in debt and stuff like that? At what point does a financial director allow that to happen? And I mean,
And who's signing off these deals? Like, who's, no offense to Jared Piqué, but as an example, I will use it because it's true. What kind of person gives a person a mega deal at that age on a contract of that kind of wage bill? Why would you do it? Like, why would you write that off? Is someone not questioning that? Like, how old is he? Oh, it's grand, just sign it. It's so dodgy. Like,
well,
it's not like a young player with massive potential.
we've already made the point there that it's kind of the players there that run that club, so they're nearly contracting themselves somewhat. You know what I mean? So it's a very, very strange situation. In terms of where he's going to go to, I mean, you're thinking PSG. You're nailed on with PSG.
My nailed on for PSG. Not that I my opinion, I think, is PSG or nowhere else at the moment. I think Tuchel wouldn't have him in the project because Tuchel demands a lot from his players. It's his first full camp. I don't think he wants any disruptions. I think he wants heads down, work on the pitch, and getting the full kind of reap of reward from the players from a full camp and a full season to look ahead. Does he want to bring Messi in last minute? And the players are like, hold on, is this my position? Is this my hard work? Tuchel's not that kind of manager. I don't think he would tolerate the nonsense and the carry on. I don't think Messi would get away with it at Chelsea. Also, as much as Abramovich likes to splash the cash, I don't think Tuchel would, say, no, I'm not having this. I think he would, like you said, Klopp, the Guardiolas. I think there would be a certain level of saying, no. I fully agree with kind of where you're coming from. Poch is going to be a backseat driver in this conversation. He's not even involved in this. PSG are like, we'll deal with this. You know what I mean? It's like Neymar is coming out, I'll give him the 10, all this kind of thing.
Well, you see, when Poch was questioned about this today, because I think he had a press conference today because there's a French match coming up. His answer was that other people in the club are dealing with these things, not me.
There you go.
Which was it was like Groundhog Day for me listening to it, when you remember his reaction when he was asked on these things before when he was at Spurs. And he made it very clear that it's not him, that it's obviously Daniel Levy and stuff like that. So he's obviously saying that it's Leonardo, you know what I mean? So basically he's sorting these things out, but it just like, I suppose the thing about it is, if then the deal with CVC falls through in terms of the amount of money involved, then what happens? You know what I mean? That's what I'd be worried about, Yeah, it's a very similar situation like what we seen with Pochettino with Daniel Levy and all and stuff like that, where like he just became a byproduct of the situation there, and it was a bit like it became untenable, really. You know what I mean? And I think you're seeing the same thing evolving now with PSG here at the moment. You know what I mean? That you have a bunch of players there at the moment that basically picked themselves, and you have a figurehead of a coach who's just there in name, really. You know what I mean? But my biggest concern as well is that if the CVC deal falls through or the money gets reduced, what's going to happen to all these other clubs in Spain who are having problems at the moment and stuff like that?
Yeah, obviously. And there's a lot of really Athletic Bilbao from the Basque Country, proper old school grounded club. Like Villarreal won the Europa League, had a great squad, had a great team. There's a lot of work that goes on outside the likes of Barca and Real. Sevilla, another good side. And then you have to give Atletico credit themselves, for winning La Liga. There's a lot more to it than just the usual Barca, Real Madrid. Other teams need to be looked after as well, because they do make up La Liga as a whole,
Yeah, this had huge implications on the league itself. And I just wonder, is CVC going to get together with Liga and say, look, we need to sort this. This is a major issue. It's going to have massive implications on the league. And we need to figure out a way of getting money in there into Barcelona to be able to re-register Messi, and let's get the ball rolling. Because I think if he sells off the PSG, the implications on La Liga as a league and as a footballing league, I think is going to be absolutely massive as well.
Yeah, like I will tune in because of Barca, but another fan will say, what am I going to watch La Liga for? For who? Who's going to draw me there? Who am I tuning in to watch week in, week out?
Well, you see, you're going to tune into Barca, but are you going to get the Barca that you tune into? or you're going to get like Barcelona B, if you like, you know what I mean? And
We
this
don't
is
know yet.
this
We don't know yet.
this is the real problem, you know. But we're gonna look.
Like,
We're
I'm
gonna.
excited to see Barca
Hmm,
after, with the likes of Pedri, and
yeah,
if the Poi hopefully can get so. Huge implications for Sergio Aguero, because I'm sure he was thinking, Messi's there, I'll go there, link
hmm,
up with him. Now, is his frame of mind going to be, I'll play for the manager, or is it going to be, Messi's gone, so I don't even give a rat's, really? You know what I mean?
yeah. It has huge implications coming down through the whole thing, you know. But we're gonna watch it closely anyway, and we're gonna keep an eye on it as it evolves. Um, I think last night when I was talking about it on the Chelsea Roar, I was getting a bit excited at the prospect of Messi playing in the Premier League as well. I thought would have been kind of cool, you know.
It would be
Um,
nice to see. We've always
yeah,
kind of wondered how he would fare.
yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. But this has been your upper tier look at this situation with Lionel Messi with Craig, of course. And we will continue to monitor this as news breaks. We'll jump back on and we'll give our opinion on it and stuff like that. Craig, really appreciate you coming on. As always, Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube for the videos. Audio versions of the show are on Anchor. And if you'd like to contact the show on Twitter at _upper_tier, or you'll get us on Facebook, the upper tier, or on Instagram, the upper tier. Craig, pleasure as always, my man.
cheers, Noel. Thanks very much.
Cheers, bro.